Welcome to Rob Schmitt Tonight with a wealth of evidence indicating Kilmar Abrego Garcia is in fact a gang member as well as a wife beater. Loony Democrats have been forced to morph this fight for his return into a fight for due process. Chris Van Hollen has become a left-wing celebrity for going to El Salvador and having that margarita with Abrego Garcia. And today, 4 more members of Congress copycatted the senator, hoping to be new Democrat darlings with their own trip, posting videos online. And after allowing 15 million people to enter our country with no process, they're demanding new process for anyone we send home and for a likely gang member whose wife had a protective order against him. Again, these people choosing to die on the absolute dumbest of all hills. Credit where credit is due, as always on this show. While Van Hollen was gleefully doing his media tour and soaking up all of the attention from it, CNN actually hit him with a question he didn't expect, and it was not pretty.
Can you say with absolute certainty that he is not, nor has he ever been, a member of the MS-13 gang? And did you ask him point blank?
Well, Dana, what Donald Trump is trying to do here is change the subject.
You didn't ask him?
I didn't ask him that because I know what his answer is.
Did you ask him about this? His first word, Donald Trump. That's what they always do, right? Trump is trying to change the subject, Van Hollen claims, while desperately trying to change the subject. Van Hollen can't ask him about being in MS-13 because the answer very likely will ruin his entire grift. He can't ask that question, and we all know why. He then claims it doesn't really matter. Really? Now, he's a gang member, so he's considered a terrorist. He's a foreign gang member, so now he's considered a terrorist in this country. And the usage of the Alien Enemies Act would be adequate for his removal if that were the case. So yeah, it does matter. And we know why you didn't ask. Van Hollen was on 5 Sunday shows yesterday. He did everything. The definition of a grandstander, which is what he's been labeled by the White House. He's worked harder for one unwanted illegal possible gang member than he ever has for the citizens of his own state. He was asked about Rachel Morin over the weekend, the mother of 5 killed by an illegal in his own state, after her mother called out the senator from the White House.
Why does that person have more right than I do, or my daughter?
What is your response to Mrs. Morin?
My heart goes out to the Morin family. They experienced an unspeakable tragedy in the murder of their daughter, and I said at the time that my heart goes out to the Morin family. I'm not sure why Abrego Garcia's rights should be denied based on an awful murder that he had absolutely nothing to do with.
He didn't say his heart went out, by the way. His staff put it in a statement, one official statement from his office. And as far as due process is concerned, it's quite rich from the party that weaponizes the justice system against its political enemies, isn't it? We watched due process tossed basically out the window for most anybody involved in January 6th. And in dark blue New York, lawmakers actually changed a law so that they could attack Donald Trump over a baseless allegation. The Adult Survivors Act gave a 1-year window for people claiming they've been sexually abused to file lawsuits from ages ago. They did it all to get Trump. E. Jean Carroll alleges Trump raped her, you know this story, but can't remember the year. Alleges she was wearing a dress that hadn't been created yet at the time, and has a story that is identical to an episode of a popular TV show, but New York Democrats changed the law so that E. Jean Carroll could take $90 million from Donald Trump in a court system that's just as ridiculous as you know New York's is. And now we have Democrats flying to El Salvador on their own dime to scream at a foreign government to hand over one of their own citizens to us. That's how crazy this is getting. Their allies in the media have gone completely nuts.
If they could do it to them, if they could snatch students off the street without any pushback or recourse, they will do it to any of us. To be very clear, it's going to be the people of color and vulnerable communities that are next in line.
You just can't make stuff up. It's so stupid. Yeah, the next move is we're going to send everybody in the country that's not white to seek out prison in El Salvador. You nailed it, lady. You got it right on the head. Standard fare for MSNBC these days, which actually managed to replace Joy Reid with something worse. And then take a listen to this.
As far as I'm concerned, he's a lot less criminal than the person that's sitting in the White House, because last time I checked, he doesn't have any criminal convictions. I don't even think he has any outstanding cases, versus the guy that still had cases pending when he was sworn in on January 20th and also has 34 felony convictions.
Jasmine Crockett, we've never been so far apart. It's just lunacy on the other side that we have to listen to every day. Late last week, the Supreme Court temporarily blocked Trump's usage of the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelan gang members. Samuel Alito, with a fiery dissent, literally in the middle of the night, the court issued unprecedented and legally questionable relief without giving the lower courts a chance to rule, without hearing from the opposing party with dubious factual support for its order, and without providing any explanation for its order. I refused to join the court's order because we had no good reason to think that under the circumstances issuing an order at midnight was necessary or appropriate. Now, that could end up being a minor hiccup in all of this, and hopefully it is. But the larger point to make is this. For 4 years, the court sat by and allowed the Biden White House to decimate the sovereignty of this country. Blatant lies about asylum seekers. Suddenly, everybody in the world was an asylum seeker, so you just come right in. Flagrant lies from the head of DHS about a secure border. Our country was gutted for 4 years, and millions of people just walked right in. But now they want process. Now we're going to demand a court hearing for every single person that we try to send home. You bring them all in, pure chaos. Sending them home has to be very, very much by the book. This is the rules that they're trying to create here. And this would ensure the left's dream of flooding a borderless United States. It would ensure that it would never be reversed. Obama deported millions. The courts were quiet. 10 years later, only one thing has changed, and that is the left's ideology on all of this. They are uniform in the contention that America is now borderless. Their judges enforcing this new belief, fighting to keep this dream alive, that America is the world's property. The last election be damned. You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt Tonight on Newsmax.